loud and spectacular fashion, which was exactly what Anita had hoped to avoid. The presence of both camera crews had opened the floodgates, and now every journalist in the city seemed to be aware of the man's imminent arrival. Zaid had clearly suffered the most. What had started as a respectable shot was now obscured by a rectangular lens hood and the heavily teased hair of the regional correspondent for CBS News.
"Anita, we've got to find something better," Hoffman finally said, poking his bearded face out from behind his camera. "And from this position, I'll have him on screen for less than 5 seconds, and that's a best-case scenario. The interview's out, you know. You won't hear one word over this bloody lot."
She turned away, rolling her eyes in exasperation. Despite having been born and raised in New Hampshire, Hoffman had been adopting British speech patterns for as long as she'd known him. At first, she had shrugged it off, thinking it was a joke. But then, less than 2 weeks into their partnership, she'd been disheartened to learn just how seriously he took his British heritage. Anita had coached him against the annoying habit on several occasions, but this time she let it slide and began weighing her options, trying to visualize the shot from various locations. The second-floor balcony was no good. From where she was standing, she could see that the angle was all wrong, and besides, there seemed to be a number of security men blocking the stairs. At the same time, pulling back wouldn't help in the least. In fact, it would put her on the outskirts, where her separation from the crowd, ironically, would be too great. Viewers wanted a sense of excitement, a sense of being in the thick of things, but they also wanted exclusive material. A good compromise was nearly impossible to find, and Hoffman wasn't helping at all.
"You know, I'd be surprised if the man even shows up," he remarked in a languid drawl. "Once he finds out the press is here, he'll probably stay in the zone. Besides, if he was coming, he would have been here an hour ago."
"He'll come," Anita said, trying to push down her own rising doubts. Although the Sunni-dominated insurgency had been surprisingly quiet of late, the number of attacks had been increasing steadily since 2003, rising at a rate of approximately 14% per year. In accordance with the growing threat, Baghdad's major hotels, especially those that catered primarily to Westerners, had substantially enhanced their collective security measures, but the danger was still very real. "This place is like a fortress, Tim. Didn't you see the gates outside? Besides, the man has bodyguards, police escorts. He'll come, you'll see." As Zaid maneuvered for position in the lobby, radio calls were steadily streaming out to the static posts that had already been set up on both ends of Abu Nowas Street, 300 yards in either direction. Inside the building, the reporters had been watched from the start by a rotating group of plainclothes officers with the Iraqi police service. The men who comprised the advance team had been carefully selected for their religious and political affiliations. All were Shiite Muslims, and most belonged to the Dawa party, not unlike the man they were assigned to protect. From their position on the second floor, the security officers were able to maintain a constant watch on the crowd below. As they scanned for suspicious activity, the frequent reports they muttered into their radios were routed straight through to the lead vehicle of the approaching convoy. 5 minutes after the advance team vetted the group of reporters, a black Ford Explorer squealed to a halt in front of the building. The doors swung open, revealing 4 additional security officers. Each man carried an M4A1 assault rifle and an M9 Beretta pistol, weapons supplied by the U.S. Department of Defense. They climbed out of the vehicle and scattered, 2 moving across the road as the other 2 formed an identical pattern in front of the Babylon Hotel. The goal was to set up a hasty perimeter for the following car, a close-quarter protection technique perfected by the State Department's Diplomatic Security Service many years earlier. Having learned the maneuver from their American training officers, the guards put it to use with rapid precision, calling in on a dedicated radio link once the area was secure. A white Mercedes sedan appeared a moment later, hunkering low on its wheels, gliding to a gentle halt beside the curb. A security officer reached for the door handle. The man stepped into the street, carefully avoiding a minefield of muddy puddles. The officers converged, and the man was swept from view. Inside the building, Anita Zaid was navigating the outskirts of the crowd when the reporters pressed forward without warning, their voices erupting in a torrent of unintelligible questions.
"Ah, shit," Hoffman said.
"Come on, we've got to—" "No, we do it right here." Anita swore under her breath, furious at being caught out of position but determined to make the best of it. She turned her back to the crowd and fixed her hair, checked her mic, and smoothed her skirt in one fast motion. "Give me the count, Tim. Let's go. We'll make it work."